Hooks a ball onto the head of top four Stanley. And then a giveaway, costly, potentially, as Bogard mops up. Adam Taggart, the sort of striker that can make those count in the blink of an eye. Of course, the only goal so far came from a defensive giveaway. Newcastle would hate to be equally generous as Vargas waits for the run of O'Donovan and then tries to slide him through. Reardon, a bit of clumsy contact, and the home fans hopeful more than anything the referee might have nodded for a penalty.
Yeah, I don't think there was much in that. I don't think Roy even appealed for that. He knew when he went down that he was more hopeful than anything there. But look, he'll test young Reardon in his first game. He's a wily competitor, and he'll test him physically. So that'll be something that, you know, in your first game, perhaps not the ideal player to play against.
Coletti dragged the pass, but Kantarovski will give Raw possession back.
Nothing there. He's probably lucky he escaped without a yellow card there, Donovan. I think he was going down before the defender even got there. So I think that's why he got up rather quickly, because he didn't want to bring too much attention.
Allows Kantarovski to thread through for Petratos. Reardon trying to make amends for his giveaway. Petratos goes to work. Vargas deflection and saved off the feet of Young. Good awareness from the goalkeeper, and he knocks it away, denying what would have been a 2-0 lead for the home team.
That's some save by Jamie Young. I thought that was in for all measure. Petratos again, another mistake from the Raw. Composure again from Petratos. Picks out Vargas. Technically good. That's a great save from Jamie Young. He's going the wrong way. It didn't hit his foot. It looks to me like he's seen that and he's throwing his leg at it. That's fantastic goalkeeping.
Every last bit of the body needed for Young to protect his net. Newcastle aren't done yet. Georgievski. Hoffman was hiding behind the referee. Petratos wants his left here, and he's hit his own man, Roy O'Donovan, who was in an offside position. But Petratos perhaps would have preferred a clean line of sight.
He's up and about. Dimi Petratos, I thought he'd struggled through the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season. He really hadn't looked the player that he had for the last 12 months, but that goal's really given him a boost of confidence. He looked better last week, and he is the sort of guy that once he gets on a roll form-wise, he's a real danger every time he gets the ball.
Raw yet to have a shot, yet to complete a cross. Newcastle just edging possession at the moment. They're starting to take over the territory game well and truly. Luis Italiano won't be too unhappy about that, watching on from the left of screen. Topo Stanley. Alex Lopez. Coletti. And now Enrique making a run, and he's able to catch Topo Stanley, but the ball doesn't spill to his advantage. The veteran Enrique. Katrumbis' header. Petratos. Just chasing his touch, Katrumbis. Bodiak. And Alex Lopez under the hammer from Petratos there.
Interesting to see Bodiak playing predominantly on the left-hand side. In his time at the Raw, he's played under Aloisi on the right-hand side and cut in often, but he's predominantly left-sided tonight, so a little bit of a change in the way they're set up with him.
Darren Davies, no doubt, with his own impressions of what's needed to get a result. The way they put up the fight to Sydney FC, they were stiff. Obviously, a missed penalty was a big factor as well at the end of the night. They've shown signs that they intend to play at an aggressive tempo, albeit with Newcastle looking very threatening when they go forward. And with that said, things are slowing down considerably here as Newcastle have just got them in a bit of a bind. Pepper. Enrique. The flick will work out. Nice from Hingett. Taggart has to backtrack, and Mackay can't help him. Hoffman. Georgievski. Donovan hanging between the central defenders, but the pass won't arrive, blocked away.
Adam Taggart will see that on the review of the game, and he'll be disappointed he didn't take that ball with his left foot and continue forward. He came back when he didn't really need to, then he was almost in line with the Newcastle defence and really could have attacked the goal.
Hoffman. Vargas wanted the return pass. He's going to get it third hand, but hit long. Gesticulation from Ronnie Vargas. Petratos. O'Donovan. And now Vargas. Redented. And that was a ball seeking out the keeper more than anything. Redented with a decent long shot, but ultimately forcing Jamie Young to deviate either way. Enrique. Alex Lopez. Reardon. Bodiak. And Enrique. Good positioning and fouled by Topo Stanley. It's a mid-range set piece, and as Newcastle set up their defence, let's throw it down to Glenn Lauder.
Yeah, a bit of news from the Socceroo camp in UAE preparing for the Asian Cup. Teo, Apostolos Giannou has been called in to Graham Arnold's squad in place of the injured Martin Boyle. And, of course, they kick off their campaign on Sunday night at 10 p.m. against Jordan. You can catch every game of not only the Socceroos, but of the entire AFC Asian Cup live and ad break free on our dedicated Fox Sports football channel 505. So Apostolos Giannou in the Socceroo squad in place of Martin Boyle.
Breaking news from Glenn. And putting my Victorian hat on, the former Oakley Cannons player, Apostolos Giannou, gets the call up. But issues for the Socceroos, injury after injury, Nick, and unfortunately, really attacking, poor choice of words, our attacking options are being attacked by these injuries.
Yeah, they are. Look, it's been a terrible lead up the last couple of weeks, it seems to be. Every time you hear some news, someone's gone down injured. I've got to say, it's a little bit of a strange call-up for me. I was a bit surprised by it, but, you know, Arnie obviously knows what he wants with his players. I've probably pretty publicly said that I'm surprised Terry Antonis isn't in the squad somewhere. I think he's been the outstanding player in the league so far, but he's just got to keep chipping away.
I suppose the unfortunate thing for Antonis is he wasn't named in the list of 50 that had to go to the AFC, which means in the case of an injury, he can't get the late call.
That has got to be one of the stupidest rules in football, that one too. You see it with the World Cup. What difference does it make? I mean, I don't understand. Is it for printing of programs or whatever? I mean, just make sure the best players are there.
Young hurried, and then Hingett left that right to the paint of the touchline before making sure that he was going to take possession. Ball continues to ping around in both halves for the Raw. Sweeping pass from Alex Lopez has O'Toole measuring across. Up and under from Topo Stanley and Redenton. Lopez back in. Firmly hit into Kantarovski.
Just on that attacker, that ball from O'Toole is, I think, what Brisbane need to get away from doing. It's like keeping possession well. They're becoming almost overnight. They're becoming a possession team to my eye again. And then you just swing a hopeful ball in like that without a real heading target, man. Didn't get that out of their game.
So O'Toole attacked the flank that time. I think the only two players waiting were the mid-sized Taggart and the diminutive Enrique, who now has the ball at his feet where he can go to work and find Taggart. And that bent the wrong way, always going wide.
It did, but it's good play. It's good interaction. They're looking to play into guys' feet and get a quick 1-2 and a shot in. That part of their game's been really good. It's when they turn the ball over that they're in trouble, and that's why they've got to be careful slinging in hopeful crosses and then give possession away, because in transition, Newcastle are getting forward really quickly.
And has the ball at his feet where he can go to work and find Taggart. Bent the wrong way, always going wide.
It did, but it's good play. It's good interaction. They're looking to play into guys' feet and get a quick 1-2 and a shot in. That part of their game's been really good. It's when they turn the ball over that they're in trouble, and that's why they've got to be careful slinging in hopeful crosses and then give possession away, because in transition, Newcastle are getting forward really.
Just left his body a bit open there. Back to Young. There's the ball in his feet. Hunting the ball there. O'Toole. Little backstep to lose the attention of the Newcastle midfield. Hingett. Coletti. Alex Lopez. Bodiak, space to work this time. Trumpers comes over to cover. Bodiak, it's a teasing ball off the midriff of Adam Taggart. Attack still very much on for the Raw here. Taggart, what's his option? Hingett, Coletti. Alex Lopez. Does like a long shot, and that one wide left. Trying to recreate his strike from earlier in the season in Mudgee, Alex Lopez, but he couldn't find the corner.
Yeah, he can hit a good ball, and it's a good passage of play from the Raw. They were controlled, they took their time. Nice little movement to the side, and he's hit the ball well. And Italiano, I don't know if he had it covered, but he was certainly scrambling across to his right there, so he was worried about it.
It'd be wise not to give him another sider, Alex Lopez. It's a good, firm, flat, long shot, and as you see there, Raw have swung the possession stat firmly in their favour in the last 5 minutes. Trying to crib back some of the territory disadvantage as well. Take the pressure off this back line of theirs. Katrumbis, Petratos, Hoffman. And goalkeeper went to ground, but Pepper was there first. Little pat on the back for the central defender. Katrumbis stops the clearance from Lopez. Deflected cross is cleared. Kantarovski. Petratos. Vargas. To Georgievski. Kantarovski. Georgievski to Hoffman. A low ball through the 6-yard box that everyone just stood and looked at. Newcastle players not really in the vicinity. The Raw defence happy to see it on its way through. Jamie Young didn't commit. Vargas just fell off balance, and Bodiak, after stripping him of the ball, doing the hard work, and ran into trouble in the form of Ben Kantarovski and gave it away. And the Jets take the free kick quickly. Georgievski shanked that into Coletti. Topo Stanley, firm in the challenge. Vargas. Petratos. Back to Vargas. And went to ground very easily. Pepper bursting out from the centre of defence. Bodiak. Beautiful pass. Great first touch from Enrique. And now Taggart. The touch not quite to the same effect, but it was beautiful build-up from Raw, just lacking that final piece of the jigsaw.
Yeah, the lead-up play's been good. As you said, it's just the last little bit that they're missing. And just got to be patient now. Don't get frustrated. Just keep working away the way you're going.
See the quality of Bodiak to command the ball exactly as he wanted it there. The diagonal ball was on, but such a long pass. Measured it to perfection. Can he conjure up here? Trying to escape Katrumbis first and foremost. And John Katrumbis having none of it.
Yeah, good defending, stayed on his feet and did the job well there. But that's what you like to see from Bodiak, get the ball at your feet and take players on.
O'Toole. Mackay. Alex Lopez. Bogard in front of Enrique. Just that ball slides perhaps 10 metres further than the Raw might have expected. O'Toole's going to take the throw in a bit further up the pitch from where it went out. And now run onto it here. It worked, build up from the Raw. And Bogard facing his own goal. Sent that high. Not dealt with just yet. Mackay. And that looked like a handball from Topo Stanley. It's out for a corner. And the Raw are right to appeal here.
Yeah, I think this one's going to have to be looked at because his hands weren't behind him. They were out to the side. And it's, look, on what we've seen this year, this could be a penalty. His hands were down. The ball's clearly struck his arm. The distance is maybe an issue, but I don't know.
He's tucked him in at the last second.
Yeah, look, it'd be a harsh decision to give against him, but geez, we've seen him given. I don't know, this heart-in-the-mouth stuff, this for the Jets.
If it's hit his near arm to the ball, it's all right. It's the second arm, which is the other one.
Yeah, I think that's what saved him. If it was the other arm, he'd have been in all sorts of trouble.
And the green light for Sean Evans coming from the VAR booth. Still a corner to deal with, though. Bodiak. And it flashes through the box. Taggart was leaning in and Reardon went to ground. Mackay. Pepper has stayed forward. Coletti. Newcastle defence camped at the edge of the box. And Italiano, you heard the shout. He soars over the back of Adam Taggart to drag that one in.
Yeah, good goal team. I'd like to see that corner again from Brisbane. It looked to me like Reardon and Taggart basically spoiled a free header for either of them, and they just got in each other's road. It looked about 7 or 8 yards out of free header.
It's quite an imposing figure, Luis Italiano. Good height, able to come out and command his area there.
Interesting, the formation the Jets gave us tonight. They had a 4-3-3 with Dimi Petratos playing wide on the left. I don't think he's ventured over that side of the field at all yet. And he's the one that's giving Brisbane problem. They're not sure who to pick him up. If he comes wide, sometimes O'Toole gets him. But then when he drifts centrally, young Coletti's not sure whether to get him. And that's why he's picking up all that extra room. And he's the main threat to Brisbane at the moment.
Georgievski, body checked. Whistle stays by the side of Sean Evans. And Raw emerge with the ball. Taggart, Enrique, buys a corner off Topo Stanley. Was it a foul, Nick?
No, I don't think so. Wasn't much in that, really. I think Daniel could have pushed through that if he really wanted to. I like to see those sort of things let go a little bit. I mean, maybe it's a bit old school, but I don't think there was too much in that.
And so, having squared the corner count at the half-hour mark, Brisbane Raw attempt to square the scoreboard. Alex Lopez's corner for Taggart. And it's a header off target.
It's a good header, though. Was it Taggart or Pepper? I'm not 100% sure. I'll go with you on Taggart, but it's a good header, and that's one thing I do like about Adam Taggart's game that perhaps goes a little bit unnoticed is his heading ability. He scored a great headed goal early in the year against Melbourne City. Let's see what is there. Yeah, it is Taggart, but that's a good vertical leap against a bigger man, and he's made good contact there. If that's inside the post, I think Italiano's in real trouble.
O'Donovan has got the march, and Petratos was waiting for a tap in. Jamie Young with an embrace for Connor O'Toole to say thank you for saving the day.
Yeah, he did. One of the question marks on O'Toole this year has been a little bit his desperation in defence, but you see here that that's just too easy for the Jets to get in behind there. Reardon's got to be tighter on his man there, but that's excellent defending from young O'Toole. Otherwise, it's a tap-in for Petratos. But too easy for Newcastle. Brisbane too soft at the back. Just little simple things. Teams are getting in on goal. It's not good enough.
So now a Jets corner. Petratos the outswinger. Katrumbis lent into it. Bogard. Now Bodiak, good use of the body. 50-50 ball there to be won. And Georgievski just bombs away. Bit of niche areas on the stat, but the Jets are actually the #1 team to get into duels this season. Hold up here due to multi-ball. Also the #1 team for winning duels, Newcastle. So 50-50 balls, back the Jets. Of course, if you keep it away from a contested situation, you don't have to worry about winning duels if you own possession. Bogart. Petratos. Kandarovski. Petratos, take two, and this time in the pocket. And he's clattered late, free kick and shooting range.
Just again, it's the confusion about who picks Petratos up there. You see Bodiak, once he's committed the foul, he turns to O'Toole and he said, you've got to come out and pick him up there. He's just dropping into that space, that hole between, just in front of the raw defence, and they're not sure. It's clearly a foul. There's no problem with the decision at all, but someone has to come up and push up on Petratos, even if it means leaving a little bit of space, because you just can't let him run free.
Is that something the bench can address, or is that on-field leadership and organisation?
Oh, it's a bit of both. There's no reason the bench can't address it, absolutely. But, you know, there's some experienced guys out there, and people have just got to say, hey, you pick him up.
They have to stand 15 yards away from this Dimi Petratos attempt. There's the wall. 4 sleeves well decorated. 4 arms are clean skin. Petratos. Oh, he's rattled the woodwork. Nearly measured it to perfection, and it's turned behind for a corner. Petratos so close to his second of the night.
Well, he doesn't want to have to finish, Dimi Petratos. What a strike. That's technically perfect. Nothing Jamie Young could have done. The only thing wrong with that is it's maybe 6 inches too high, but what a strike. His dead ball ability is as good as anyone I've seen in Australia for a long time.
And now Bogart at the resulting corner. Got to the header, but sliding across the face. Well, that was literally nearly in the apex. It was that close to actually measuring it to the centimetre.
It was a beautifully struck free kick. Nothing Jamie Young could do about it. I don't really know how you counteract that. When they hit a ball that well, there's not much you can do about it. And he's really a one-man show out there at the moment, Petratos. It's a really dominant display from an individual.
The early goal has made such a difference. He's stayed in the mood ever since striking just 5 minutes in. It is only the 1 goal difference, though, and Raw have shown signs of feistiness that they will not go away this evening, at least while the score is only 1. Still just over 10 minutes plus stoppage until half-time. Redenton. Petratos resumes his battle with O'Toole. Katrumbis, neat little chop back in. Reardon loses out. Petratos, and Hoffman was the man hoping to turn it in, but Pepper saves the day. Young Reardon is having a torrid time on his A-League debut with some of these attackers.
Yeah, he's having a tough time of it. He's got the wrong side of the field with Petratos out here. Originally he does well and just loses the ball under his feet. And once again, it's good defending at the near post. They got bodies there, but once again, Petratos is giving them problems.
Long throw from Katrumbis. O'Donovan. Vargas. Petratos to Kandarovski. And forced to go backwards on this occasion. And the Raw defence now push up as Newcastle retreat further into their defensive half. cape here. Topo Stanley eventually finds a teammate. And Hingett was grabbed, and well, they tied themselves up in knots there, Newcastle, and have conspired to give away a free kick.
Yeah, they did. They perhaps better just to clear their lines there. That's good defending from Brisbane, though. They pushed up as a unit. You could see the defence got out quickly, played a high line up to the half, and they squeezed Newcastle as soon as they went backwards.
Alex Lopez over the dead ball. Not happy with the distance of the one-man wall. So that's the picture. Can Lopez construct an equaliser? Botiak's done very well to turn it into something, and then the Rabona cross. And Georgievski, it's down. Pepper, clattered. And the whistle goes in Newcastle's favour. Botiak audacious, but couldn't find a teammate.
He's got some tricks. I've seen him play a bit of head tennis out there at Raw training, Eric. He's got plenty of tricks, but great defending there from Johnny Katrumas. That was a chance for Pepper to really put his laces through the ball, but he got there in time. But look, just fantastic bit of individual skill there. It's what we like to see. But yeah, danger here. The chance it falls down. Pepper's about to hit it, and Katrumas, that's really good. Stay alive. Get yourself there. Put your body on the line. Good defending.
Flag up here. During your playing career, Nick, did the Rabona ever cross your mind? Did you ever think, yep, it's on here, that's the right move for me to swing one leg behind the other and dink the ball in?
No, never at all. I simply did not have the ability to do it. I have tried it since, and I still don't have the ability to do it. My son can do it. I don't know how they do it, but I've got no chance.
Raw perhaps buoyed by a bit of time down their attacking end. Reardon called off Alex Lopez for the header. Topo Stanley. Hoffman flicking into the path of Georgievski. Early ball. And Reardon back in defence. Hoffman. Lopez. Looking to bring it to ground. And then a scoop pass out to Enrique. Over the head of Taggart. Georgievski. Hoffman loses Hingett. Petros at the far stick. Wants his left. And Reardon on this occasion able to knock it off his toes. Petranos goes to retrieve. Kandarovski. And on the turn, it's just over. Jamie Young must feel as though any given Jets attack could end up in the back of his net, but on that occasion, high and wide.
There's plenty of raw numbers there behind the ball. That's not the problem, but no one goes out and presses the ball. Hoffman shouldn't be allowed to simply roll the ball inside on the edge of the 18-yard box, turn and get a shot. That's not good enough. You've got to get out, force the guy backwards. If he wants to get a shot on goal, make him earn it. That's way too easy.
Bogart's header. Pepper. Another clearance that goes high and backwards. There's just been a few hopeful up and unders tonight that haven't really got the job done. Hoffman. Petratos. Hoffman for the return pass. And it's another point-blank save from Jamie Young. He's having a night, Brisbane Raw goalkeeper, and he's had to. Eugene Galekovic watching on at home, wondering if he's a sure thing for the best goalkeeping performance of the week.
Well, Jamie Young is the reigning A-League goalkeeper of the year, and it's, you know, these are the things that he did last year. His shot stopping, but with his feet is outstanding. He doesn't plant his feet, he stays light on his feet so he can move from side to side. Lateral movement there with his feet. It's a fantastic save, and he's really all that has stood between the Jets being 2 or 3 up at this stage.
As you can see there, Brisbane still yet to record a shot on target. They have had 3 total. And the Jets going at 4 from 11, which is an improvement on their previous profligate finishing. Vargas, Redenton getting forward. Closed down by Pepper, who can't stop the ball going beyond the byline. Quickly taken corner kick, perhaps in spirit with this half where the action has just been non-stop. Petratos. Georgievski. 5 minutes plus stoppage until the break. from Topo Stanley, but Alex Lopez lost his feet. That's allowed Hoffman to take over, and his pass is poor. Bodiak. He's got the runner down the right side, Enrique, but didn't like the look of it. Draws O'Toole up from the left instead. Coletti. Alex Lopez. And Hingett. What started as a promising move ends with Enrique missing his man.
Yeah, just a little bit of quality there, broke down a good move. I did see a couple of things in the previous move when Brisbane defending it. I really didn't like the look of body language wise from the Raw. To me, it looks now almost they need to get to half-time with just 1-0 down. Another goal might kill off a few of these younger players in particular.
Vargas very delicately trying to bring it down without fouling Matt Mackay. Reardon's long ball. Off the chest of Bodiak. O'Toole holds off Petratos. Enrique. Hingett on the overlap, and Mackay was hoping, but Topo Stanley stopped the ball from arriving. A long pass. Reardon's missed it. O'Donovan. The fans rise for Roy. And he shoots it straight at the keeper. Good hands from Jamie Young, though. Needed some stopping.
Yeah, well done by Jacob Pepper, too. He made up for Reardon, really lunging at the ball when he should have just continued running with the flight of the ball. Had a bit of a nervy first half, to be honest, but well defended by Pepper. Good strike from O'Donovan.
O'Toole. Alex Lopez. And this time, Hingett was able to get there before Georgievski, but it's being returned with interest. And now the Raw right back is out of position, forcing others to scramble in cover. Petratos. O'Donovan hanging off Reardon there, but the 19-year-old centre-back was able to make the interception. Bodiak under the challenge of Katrumbis, which will draw the first yellow card of the night. Sean Evans went reaching for the wrong pocket there initially.
He did. That card was certainly red that he pulled out there. I think Johnny Katrumbis' heart must have been in his mouth there, because there's no doubt he's pulled the red one out, which certainly wasn't warranting that. It is a yellow card. It's a little bit nasty. I mean, it's foot over the ball. It's certainly not a red card offence. But I'm like you. I certainly saw the colour red come out.
Perhaps Johnny Katrumbis did too. First booking of the evening. Just the 10 fouls in this first half total. It's been a game played in very good spirits, actually. Not a great deal of niggle out there at present. And Mackay catches Hoffman. Great work from Georgievski. And he continues the run. Petratos! And even though he shaped up for the spectacular, the end result is that he's kept it at his feet, and then Vargas can't do the same. Pickpocketed by Taggart. Even though the pistons were pumping there for Enrique, he couldn't chase the ball down.
Unfortunately, that's the Enrique of 2018-19. The legs, to me, they're almost gone. Still a fine player, technique and all that, but to me, I just don't think he's a starter anymore. I'd like to see the Raw now look to a D'Agostino or Wenzel Halls, because they really just lack a little bit of pace. They've dominated Newcastle in certain areas, and if they just had that little extra pace, that could make a real difference.
Home fans certainly thought that Taggart might have followed Katrumbis into the book there, but it is just Johnny Katrumbis with a yellow to his name. As the board goes up, just the 1 minute to end what has been a fun first half here in Newcastle. Game's being played at a great tempo, real attacking intent from both teams. And the fans just don't like the spoil sport of having to bring the ball back and take the free kick again. More little wrestling holds from Joey Coletti. Hoffman. Petratos. His goal the difference in the 5th minute. Georgievski. O'Donovan. Jamie Young denies Newcastle once more. Redenton. Petratos. They will get one last corner at the end of a half where, had they not scored early, Jamie Young would have been driving them absolutely batty with some of the saves he's been able to make.
It's the Jets against Jamie Young's legs at the moment. Just good use of his body. He's keeping himself big. He's a big lump of a man, Jamie Young. He's a bear and did it well again.
Bogard! And held on to on one bounce. And the minute of stoppage is up. As Jamie Young holds on to the ball, hoping the halftime whistle can arrive and give Brisbane Roar a bit of a reprieve here. As they go to the sheds, it is just the one. Dimi Petratos struck early, and Newcastle at regular intervals able to test the Brisbane Roar. But Jamie Young has been the obstacle in their way, and Roar have shown signs that minute. Don't be fooled by the scoreline. It has been a free-flowing attacking game as the family watches on. Sister Paniota, also brother Costa among the rest of the clan. Nick Meredith, you know the Petratos crew quite well.
Yeah, I do. That was Dad Angelo, I think it was, sitting there, the flamboyant one amongst the crowd with the nice gold chain and the hair. But yeah, as an old NSL player, Angelo, a no-nonsense character, let's put it that way. He really could put himself about.
Certainly enjoying the show that son and brother is putting on so far tonight. Paniota and the Newcastle Jets team, they actually play Sydney FC at Cogra on Friday as part of a doubleheader. Sydney FC then take on the Mariners. Big couple of games coming up as part of what has been a fantastic festive season of football, kicking on from Christmas through to New Year. And it seems as though the Jets have really got the jump on Brisbane here, who are still down in the room. So Darren Davies perhaps still getting the bearings right on the team talks here, Nick, because the Roar get to appear.
Yeah, they are. They're coming out. We just see them coming out now. But I'd imagine Darren Davies, who's not the loudest of people, he's a fairly quiet, reserved guy, but I think there might have been a few words said about some of the defensive frailties that they showed there and leaving Jamie Young exposed on a few occasions. I think he'd be reasonably happy with what they've done going forward. That part of the game's been okay, and I just noticed down here, it looks like we're going to get the change that I'm going to call myself Nostradamus. It looks like D'Agostino's going to come on for Enrique. So, no, actually Enrique's still out there. So
it's Joey Coletti.
Joey Coletti's coming off. Okay, well, that's going to form a little bit of a restructure here, so it'll be very interesting to see how they line up in the first few minutes of this half.
Coletti was quite prominent, though. Nick, not the change you would have gone for?
Surprising. I thought he did really well. Since he's come into the team, the Raw midfield has looked a little bit more mobile to me, a little bit more fluency about it. Didn't look like he'd picked up a knock, so yeah, a little bit of a surprise.
Game has certainly played at a cracking pace in that first half, and we'll see if that can continue into the second.
D'Agostino he's a striker, though. He's a guy that when he gets on a roll in youth league competitions, that he's scored a hatful of goals. I personally believe that Adam Taggart, when I've seen him play well, is as a 2 up front rather than being isolated on his own. I think when he played really well in Perth and that he played as a 2. So perhaps that's what Darren Davies has seen and trying to give him that chance.
Now, at the end of the first half, Chris Bowling there, who you see walking down the tunnel, had words with the refereeing crew, and at the start of the second half, he has been invited to leave the technical area. So they're one down, and having to sub-goalkeepers in the last game, they've got youngster Noah James on the bench. It's maybe not the best member of staff to lose if you had to sacrifice someone. Anyway, it's 11 versus 11 on the pitch, and the second half is underway with everything to play for both these sides, trying to latch back on to the race for the top 6 at the start of the new year, and an early foul.
Just on that, I'm going to get on my soapbox here. What's a goalkeeping coach doing on the field talking to officials? Or talking to officials? Just coach the goalkeepers. Leave the fourth officials, leave the officials alone. Send him to the stand and give him a couple of weeks to think about it. It's just garbage.
Redenton. Back to goal work from Hoffman as he's bumped off the ball. Georgievski. Prominent in an attacking sense for Newcastle in that first half, but that pass is a letdown. D'Agostino, first involvement. Redenton against Hingett. And Hingett lunging gives away the free kick. 1 minute expired at the start of this second half. Bodiak. Hingett. And it's a bit of an underhit pass that allowed Redenton to jump in. Pepper. Raw being steadily corralled backwards. Enrique. And that was a bit of a bench killer as it's booted into the chairs. Speaking of benches, Newcastle Jets, Stephen Ugarkovic, Jair, Kane Shepherd and Lachlan Jackson, their outfield options, along with Noah James, who is in for the injured Glenn Moss. And for the Raw, they've already made the one switch. They've still got Dane Ingham, Stefan Negro and Dylan Wenzel-Halls, along with Brendan White, their backup goalkeeper. Enrique, D'Agostino, bit of cool school coming out from both players. Advantage given. Mackay, O'Toole making a run. Katrumbis in pursuit, and he will have to pursue here as O'Toole's cross is dealt with by Bogart.
Yeah, good play, good refereeing too. He let the advantage play there for the foul on Enrique. Katrumba's got his angle wrong there and let O'Toole get in behind him, but well defended.
Reardon, the Raw debutant, getting forward here. Pass just out in front of O'Toole. Mackay. Bodian wheeling and dealing, but sees frustration as he boots the ball away, and as we know, those sort of outbursts have spelled trouble for Eric Bodiak earlier this season already.
Yeah, the red mist can descend with Eric, no doubt. We saw that a few weeks ago, so hopefully that just gets that out of his system and he's back into the game, because he's had a good game so far.
More stringent referee might have produced a yellow card there for booting the ball away, but you see play continuing. Bit of a knock to the face of Roy O'Donovan. And it's a head injury. If he goes to ground, the referee would be obliged to whistle play dead. Instead, he holds his cheek as Newcastle attack through Hoffman. And now Petratos. Vas. And even though he's put that in the bottom corner, the way that he lost Alex Lopez constitutes a foul.
Geez, they got lucky there, the Raw. The defending of Jacob Pepper, this incident here with O'Donovan, there's nothing in that, but Pepper had to make that because they're outnumbered at the back. They're just not getting back quick enough when in transition, the Raw. There's some real laziness in their recovery, which isn't a good sign, but well done by Pepper, and a nasty little head clash there. Although we have seen Roy O'Donovan's got a hard melon.
He was determined not to disengage completely with the passage of play that was on. Matt Mackay wiping out Matt Redenton. Maybe the last words at the end of the first half when I said it was a game played in good spirit. We've had the fouls leap up to 15 total. There's only 9 total at the 40-minute mark, so they're starting to become a bit more frequent. On this occasion, though, not a foul, a throw. Katrumbis. D'Agostino, 50-50 ball. And in a duel, the Jets prevail. They are the #1 team in the league in duels. And it's going to lead to a booking here for Jack Higgett being the late arrival.
Yeah, look, they both went, to me they were both going for the ball. Daniel Georgievski does gamble a lot. If he thinks it's a 50-50 or even a 60-40 against him, he does make the effort to get to that ball. He certainly got there first. Is Higgett's intention to get to the ball or to get... To me, that's, you know, it's incidental contact. I mean, people will say, oh, I've got my Brisbane Raw colours on here, but to me it's just incidental contact. They're both guys going for the ball. Higgett doesn't get it. Just because you don't get it doesn't mean you have to get a yellow card. You know, the dive and that, because they're going at speed, makes it look worse. To me, it's just a free kick and get on with it. Petratos
foxing at the free kick. Some players may have run offside, but they're all legal now as it slides to the byline. Topo Stanley. A real cumbersome sort of challenge that can't stop the ball going out for a goal kick. Enrique, very deep in his own defensive half. Alex Lopez, D'Agostino. Now Higgett. Numbers to aim for in the box. But he defers to D'Agostino. And the early ball is behind for a corner. That's what the assistant referee is flagging, and the central referee, after a quick look at the survey, does agree. Interesting with D'Agostino, he's playing as a 10 since he's come on. He's not playing as Taggart's partner, he's playing in behind him, so a slightly different role for him than what we've seen before. Certainly made an early impact since coming on. And as Bogard was tripped by his own man, Hoffman, he still gets the header away. D'Agostino. O'Toole. Bogard. Petratos harassed by Mackay. Newcastle throw down at left back. Little verbal exchange with Matt Mackay's over in a jiffy. D'Agostino. Back to Reardon. Katrubis. Redenton. And Enrique holding the ball up, but for no one in particular. And a deflection means that the Raw will at least get a throw. Topo Stanley was worried about the presence of Enrique and ended up booting into him. Now, Yano with a stutter step eventually got the ball away. Kandarovski's foul. Bodiak. Overhit pass on this occasion.
Yeah, it lacked a bit of patience there. Bodiak, for the first time tonight, he's tried to force the ball. Bit of a stalemate at the moment. It's up to one team here to sort of gain control of the game again. It's very evenly balanced.
Well, if the scoreline stays as it is, it'll be the first time that Newcastle has won 5 in a row head-to-head against any of the A-League opponents. Came in a 4-winning streak against the Raw. It is only the odd goal, though. Raw have had plenty of possession in this second half. Bodiak, one of the reasons for that. He's finding the run of O'Toole here. Hoping for Taggart. And he rolled his man, Topo Stanley. And he just took a little bunny hop out of the way. And the look on his face perhaps says it all about what a good chance that was.
Yeah, it was. Dimi Petratos has done so much right tonight, but gee, was slack in defence then. He's just let O'Toole run beyond him and let Bodiak play a simple ball. Part of his game that he's got to focus on, has got to do his work off the ball as well.
Mackay. Alex Lopez trying to lose the attention of Redenton and does. Hingett. Topo Stanley whipped it up in the air, and then Taggart a shot on the turn, trying to catch out Italiano.
Yeah, a bit of frustration, Taggart there. I think nice enough turn, but you're never going to beat a keeper from that yard from that distance with that sort of backswing and run up. In just a little bit of frustration, I think.
Petratos. O'Toole standing off. Redenton saw the run of Georgievski in the corner of the eye. Georgievski's pass, though, no such vision. Kandarovski busy arguing with the referee. Didn't realise his team had won the ball back. And they slow things down. Vargas. Just looked up and saw a bit of a trap, so had to opt to go back to the keeper. Donovan out wrestled by Reardon. Vargas. Georgievski. Hoffman broke the wrong way, but Georgievski willed himself onto the ball. Marauding forward, Georgievski. And then he's played it into young Reardon. Looked like Newcastle had the numbers and they were all screaming towards the target. And it was the 19-year-old on debut that just got a toe in.
Daniel Georgievski has played that attacking move like a natural defender there. He's got into the box. He's one-on-one with the defender. The defender's going. You can see the defender going to his left. All Georgievski has to do is drag that ball to his left side, and he's straight in on goal. He's tried to be a little bit unselfish, but he looked just like a defender in the opponent's box, a little unsure what to do.
That is a missed opportunity for the Jets to leave the Raw in a big hole. As Alex Lopez tries for the killer pass, Bodiak wheels away.
You see, it's a lack of communication here from the Raw. Lopez isn't told Georgievski's there, does everything right here, and then just go. Reardon's almost given himself a pass. Said, "You're just another half step and you're straight in on goal." But yeah, he'll look back at that, Danny Georgievski, and go, "Geez, why didn't I just go myself?"
Redenton's pass. Kutrumbis running out of space and wins himself a corner.
Keep going, everyone! Turn around, jump! Next one! Keep talking, Danny, let everyone talk!
Jamie Young has, if nothing else, had a bit of a reprieve from being in the shooting gallery in the first. And as Topo Stanley goes up, Young will engage. It's a comfortable take. Trying to move the chains quickly, but it's going to be returned by Bogard. Oh, and the centre-back fancied his chances of drifting one in there. Jamie Young knows his clearance was what invited the ball back so quickly.
Yeah, it was a shank from Jamie Young under pressure. But look, I don't know if the big fella will claim he was shooting there. I don't know. I mean, give him the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't a bad effort.
Bogard walks back to more familiar surrounds. D'Agostino. Bogard.
Set pieces forward, go on the end of it.
Final words to Dane Ingham, coming in the Welsh accent of Darren Davies. He's walked up to the sideline. Next sub on the way for Brisbane. Already made one at half-time. Italiano. Fans amusing themselves here in Newcastle. And the change is going through. Enrique will be replaced by Dane Ingham. Kiwi International replaces the Brazilian import, and he flagged it was coming, Nick, that he's no longer a 90-minute play.
No, he's not, and I think really if Brisbane's best use of Enrique is the last 20 minutes, those sort of things, when perhaps the pace has gone out of the thing. Interesting now that Dane Ingham looks like he's going to play wide right up front. Now, we've seen him in the A-League as a fullback on the left or the right, and that's where he was with New Zealand. Most of his junior football, he's played as an attacking right-sided player, so it's certainly a position that he's no stranger to.
See Kane Shepherd speaking to Clayton Zane there on the Newcastle bench, so the man who's laid off the last 2 assists prior to Petratos' opener tonight, looking to bring his magic touch into the game. And a bit of contact between Hingett and Hoffman. Hoffman went down and tried to sell it for all it's worth, and then he's obviously bounced right back up here because he'd rather start a dialogue with Sean Evans. Board goes up for the Jets, and the change. Kane Shepherd is coming on for Hoffman, so his last involvement in the game. It's an interesting one at the hour mark, Nick. It's not like Hoffman's had a quiet or a particularly poor night.
No, he's been good. He's been a handful for Brisbane. Physicality that he brings. Man's come on, did do very well against Brisbane the last time they played here. It was his, I think from memory, it might have been his first A-League start, and he did get the goal just on half-time. So, you know, perhaps the bench has looked at him and think he's going to go into this with a bit of confidence. And what I saw of him in that game, he looked like a natural goal scorer.
And no giant has yet tonight, so Shepherd gets his opportunity. The Englishman who's spent a number of years in Australia, a little stint in Finland interrupting it. Corner kick, Vargas. And Young has the far post covered. And the big overarm throw is going to release Bodiak. See Petratos trying to chase him. He's able to get goal side and just hold him up. D'Agostino. Bodiak. Now the Newcastle defence is back in position. Mackay. Bodiak. Taggart. Tried to force a way through where there was none. Tag it again. And just like his last attempt, it's blocked straight off the boot. Shepherd. First touch. Puts Vargas down the left. Return ball. Shepherd, space to work with. This time closed down by Mackay. Industrious work, as is typical of Matt Mackay. Dane Ingham. Bodiak has to run back 10 metres to retrieve the ball. Alex Lopez. O'Toole to Mackay. Kandarovski able to put his body in the road. Redented. Bogarts hit that one off the top of his boot. Sliced out into the crowd. Vargas. Georgievski. He's tried for the nutmeg on Hingett and pulled it off. Still Georgievski. O'Donovan! And the radar well and truly off.
Georgievski once again showing when he marauds forward with the ball, he's a real handful. He's got good energy. Powerful player too, Daniel Georgievski. Doesn't get knocked off the ball very often. Nice little step over and a nutmeg, which I'm sure he's pretty happy with. O'Donovan, you know, he's always going to shoot from there. He'd be disappointed, Roy, that he hasn't hit the target. A striker of his quality should be hitting the target from there and at least forcing Jamie Young into a save.
Great shot from behind the swiping right boot of Roy O'Donovan. Showing us just how far wide his attempt